We finally got to the end of the Cell saga, but the Cell game didn't even happen. Cell is out there and nobody knows what he's up to. What comes next? We'll cover all that and more in the 7th part of What If Everything Was Canon. There's some years of peace following the Cell saga, thankfully because there was just a bunch of stuff back to back, and Goten is born during this time too. And in case it wasn't clear before, Trunks was already born in this timeline as well. Gohan ends up going back to school, but he does keep up with his training because Goku's alive. It's a little bit tough to balance his schedule out, but I think he'd figure out a way. He also still ends up meeting Videl and becoming the Great Saiyaman. Her dad is still recognized as a hero, so she becomes a hero as well. Even though nobody actually saw Mr. Satan kill Cell, he kind of framed it as such. Cell left pretty much right after Mr. Satan showed up, so he basically said that he scared the guy off. And for the time being, things are pretty laid back. But one day, Goten and Trunks go searching for the Dragon Balls alongside Videl. Amidst their search, they end up in a village and they learn of some monster that's lurking nearby, and they accidentally end up awakening it. And this monster isn't what they expect. It's a person, a Saiyan. It's Broly. Obviously, none of these three know who Broly is, so Goten and Trunks briefly fight him, but Broly proves to be too much. Thankfully, help is on the way. Gohan shows up first. And thanks to his extra training, he's determined to beat Broly. He feels like he's strong enough for this, but he's not entirely sure because of how strong Broly was last time. Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2, and then Broly ends up transforming into the legendary Super Saiyan. And Gohan's doing pretty well, but Broly is stronger than he expected. He's really surprised, because Gohan's grown a bunch during this time, but somehow, someway, Broly is keeping up. But they're about dead even right now, and Gohan thinks he could handle this. In worst case, he's not the only fighter here. But then something strange happens. Broly's power spikes. At first, Gohan assumes that maybe he's gone Super Saiyan 2 or something, or at least the legendary equivalent of that, but no, he didn't transform. He powers up, and then Gohan notices something on his forehead glowing. And as the glow fades, a small mark is left behind. The letter M appears on his forehead. Gohan's completely lost, but all he knows is that Broly has now grown a lot stronger. Currently, Goku is on King Kai's planet training, although of course he would sense this. And King Kai's freaking out because Broly's back. They thought he was dead, but Goku says he'll handle it. He teleports to Earth, grabs Vegeta, and teleports both of them to Gohan. Vegeta can't believe this guy is still alive and somehow on Earth. Like, really, what are the odds of them defeating Broly and then he's launched out into space and ends up on Earth frozen in ice for a few years? Isn't that kind of ridiculous? But what happened to him? Why is he stronger? Vegeta says it's because he's the legendary Super Saiyan, but Gohan points out what's on his forehead. He has that weird mark on it, and nobody could tell what that means, but King Kai's watching over, and when he hears of it, he immediately contacts the Supreme Kai. Normally he wouldn't just casually contact him, but this is dire. Goku and Vegeta turn Super Saiyan 2, but even with 3 Super Saiyan 2s together, it's not enough. Vegeta's mostly been training on Earth, and Goku has gone back and forth between Otherworld. Now, he's not in Otherworld 24/7, but he's training with King Kai, which really helps, and more importantly, training with some of the dead warriors there. Like, there's one guy named Pycon that he met, and he's also met some other people that have taught him different techniques. But Goku does have one trick up his sleeve. It's something that doesn't really work too well. He only just recently unlocked this. He transforms once more, showcasing a form beyond Super Saiyan 2. This is what he calls Super Saiyan 3, and Broly beckons him to fight. Goku tries to take on Broly with Super Saiyan 3, but even this isn't enough right now. But it does turn the tide of the battle at least. The biggest issue is Super Saiyan 3 is draining Goku constantly. But if they can combine their power into one attack, it might actually be enough to overcome Broly. Broly then jumps up high into the air, launching an attack down at them. Goku says now's their chance. He stays in Super Saiyan 3, charging a Kamehameha. Gohan and Goten join alongside him, with Trunks and Vegeta joining in, charging a final flash. They each launch a beam, and the 5 of them swirl together. At first, Broly's attack is just held back by Goku, but once everyone grants their power to it, the beam struggle is now in their favor. They start pushing Broly's attack back, and he's completely overwhelmed. He's hit directly by the blast and launched out into space, sent flying across the galaxy. He's not launched into the sun though, and thanks to the strength he's gained recently, including the strength he got from the Majin boost, he's badly injured but still alive. Floating out in space, light years upon light years away from where he was just moments ago. He's not done yet. He then starts flying throughout space back towards Earth, powering up as he does so, and from Earth, they sense him coming back. They're ready to counter with one more attack, but as Goku's trying to focus in on it, he then notices something weird. 2 other powers appear in front of Broly in space, and he starts fighting them. Broly doesn't question it. When 2 people get in his way, he immediately starts attacking them. One of them isn't as strong, and when Broly blasts him, he's completely disintegrated, but he regenerates. And then the other one, it's the same thing, although for a different reason. They introduce themselves, Garlic Jr. and Cell. Cell's glad that he could finally test out his power against Broly. Broly's strength right now actually isn't enough to completely destroy him. He was just injured by his attack and regenerated. Meanwhile, Garlic Jr. definitely can't keep up, but his immortality lets him live. The two then fight Broly together, and Cell's power alone overwhelms Broly, although it is partially due to Broly's injuries. And Cell makes sure to finish it off, launching a solar Kamehameha that completely destroys every bit of Broly. And back on Earth, everyone is just astounded. Goku was sensing the whole thing, and he could tell that was Cell out there. And he's a little bit confused because the other power feels familiar. Garlic Jr.? Gohan and Vegeta remember his key signature more clearly because it hasn't been as long for them. For Goku, it's been a while since he fought Garlic. Cell then starts talking to Goku into his head. He explains that he went out into space to train, but then he realized that someone was lurking in the dead zone. He always thought it was cool that he could open a portal and just absorb attacks that way, but he completely forgot that Garlic Jr. was in there. So Cell went into there, and he realized that Garlic Jr. was an immortal punching bag. Garlic was terrified at first because Cell just started beating him up out of nowhere essentially. But Garlic started growing from this too. He's been using his immortality to train, and the two of them have been working together. They're allies. Garlic isn't really too fond of Cell because of how they met, but they're growing stronger at least, and Cell did free him from the dead zone. Plus, Cell is partially Garlic Jr., so that at least makes him like him more. Garlic says he'll see them all soon, but Cell then reminds Garlic that Goku is his to kill. Goku smirks. He'll be waiting. And Vegeta can't believe he's being so casual about it, but he looks forward to fighting them as well. At least they're not like Broly where they're completely insane, and they're not as terrifying. With that threat defeated, it looks like their work is done here. But then, somebody else teleports in. An unfamiliar face, introducing himself as the Supreme Kai, Shin, alongside Kibito. Goku's a bit taken aback by first because that means this guy should be above King Kai. He's heard about him. Why is he here? Because of Broly? And Shin says it's not because of that, though it's good that they dealt with him again. He says there's a bigger issue at hand, and it's a good thing King Kai alerted him, but he fears it already might be too late. He didn't expect anything right now though, but Broly just hastened this. What is he talking about? They then all sense a horrifying presence. Majin Buu has been awakened. Babidi has been on Earth for a little bit here. He was expecting to use the tournament as a good way to get some power, but when Broly showed up, he decided that was the perfect opportunity. And thanks to Broly's evil nature, it was pretty easy to give him the Majin spell. Now, he wasn't controlling Broly. Broly was completely unrestrained by him. It didn't matter though. The only thing that mattered is that Babidi gained a bunch of power from this, more than enough to awaken Majin Buu. It was the perfect opportunity for him. Things went so well, and the group is completely unprepared because even Shin and Kibito didn't know about this just yet. They then all go over to where they could sense Buu's presence, and there they see Babidi waiting with his minions, and Dabra who's currently fighting Buu, because he's pretty concerned about how reckless this guy could be. And they're pretty stunned because even though they don't fight Dabra, they could sense his power and he feels pretty strong, and Buu just easily decimates him. Vegeta tells Kakarot he hopes that Super Saiyan 3 thing still comes in handy, but Goku mentions the downsides to it. He's not going to be able to use it too much. Great. And Goku wonders where the other fighters are. They could probably get Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, all those other people that helped them. And I didn't mention this in the last video, but Androids 17 and 18 are actually alive and on Earth. There's a very simple explanation for this. Even though Cell never really died, remember how I mentioned he nearly got killed by Hachiyak? And even though Hachiyak didn't do as much damage to him as Cell's self-destruction did, I feel that would be enough to cause Android 17 and 18 to still die, and that's how Cell came back super perfect. So they were a part of him, but they couldn't handle all of that, so when he got destroyed, they got destroyed. Everyone killed by Cell was revived. So they are still alive here, all thanks to Hachiyak. Piccolo also joins nearby, apologizing for not making it to Broly, but he kind of expected Goku to teleport to him. Though with him joining, it's not really going to amount to much because Buu is way too strong. So you might be thinking, well, Goku has Super Saiyan 3, and with everyone's collective power, it should be enough to overcome Buu, right? The issue is, Buu is stronger than he should be right now, by a pretty decent amount. Babidi didn't just get the energy that he needed. He got way more than that. Probably like double the energy that he needed. Because even though the fight with Broly was pretty short-lived, it gave Babidi so much energy that it overcharged Buu. Majin Buu is stronger than he should be. They try to fight him. First, it's just a 1v1 between Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Buu, and then others try and join in, but eventually, when it turns to everyone jumping him, they can't defeat him. They think they could overcome his regeneration maybe, and they try this, thinking that they could just defeat him the same way they defeated Broly, but it's a lot harder than it seems. If they are able to launch one collective attack right now, at their full powers, they could destroy Buu. But it's easier said than done because that basically requires him to just stand there and not try fighting back or using any of the strange techniques he has. They are at least able to kill Babidi in the process, that's pretty simple. And even though they do have a shot at victory right now, Shin thinks it would be better to retreat. They need to come up with a better plan. And since they do have that chance to win, it would be pointless for them to die here and not even try that out. Goku's not too hard to convince, and Vegeta ends up swallowing his pride for it. Goku thinks maybe the Supreme Kai is right. So they're all teleported to the sacred world of Kai. And this also includes Videl. She was present and she came along with them, because they didn't want to just leave her out in the middle of nowhere where they just fought Broly, and she's pretty terrified. especially now because she's on the sacred world of Kai and can't really do anything. And the rest of them are pretty worried about Earth because everyone's been left behind now, especially when Videl sees that her father's being sent to stop the threat. Mr. Satan's apparently going to try and stop Buu, and she thinks that's hopeless. Gohan starts trying to pull the Z-Sword like normal and train with it. And Dende's able to go around collecting everyone else that they left behind on Earth, keeping them safe on the lookout. But as he communicates with them, he says that he's pretty worried because they don't have any of the Dragon Balls. Bulma has a copy of the radar and they don't detect any Dragon Balls on it, but then Goten and Trunks remember something. They completely forgot amidst all the chaos. Goten has a bag on him and he opens it, showing it to everybody. All 7 Dragon Balls are inside it. Right before fighting Broly, they collected everything that they needed. And this is great. This puts everybody's mind at ease because the Dragon Balls are safe here, and if anything happens, they could just summon Shenron on the Sacred World of Kai and restore any of the damage or revive anybody. Goku does wonder if they're going to need any extra help though, because even though they're training here, Buu is still going around causing chaos on Earth, and is not sure how much they're going to grow or if it's going to be enough to stop him, even with Gohan training with the Z-Sword. Though, Cell is out there, although he's not really an ally to them, but Goku thinks that maybe he could help them. Vegeta tells him to not even think about it, mainly because Garlic Jr. is with him and he's definitely not going to help. Though Goku says that Cell would definitely be up for a fight like that. Back on Earth, Majin Buu's encounter with Mr. Satan happens, and they do form somewhat of a bond, but over this time eventually, somebody else has a plan to take out Majin Buu, and that ends up affecting Mr. Satan. So the same stuff happens. The evil part of Buu separates out, and then evil Buu fights good Buu, with evil Buu absorbing good Buu, and then becoming Super Buu. So, now there's a bigger threat on Earth, and everybody feels like they're getting prepared, especially because Gohan's able to free Elder Kai from the Z-Sword. Though there is kind of an issue with this. Elder Kai does tell them both about Potara fusion and the ultimate ritual. The ritual might be able to actually get them to win here, but it's going to take some time, especially for Gohan. And as for Potara, it's just a final trump card. They don't want to rely on it right now, especially because, as far as they know, it's a permanent fusion. But Elder Kai starts the ritual on Gohan, as everyone waits here. They kind of regret coming here so quickly, but Shin says it's better safe than sorry. Though Vegeta feels like if they stayed there and actually fought, they might have won and they could have avoided all of this. Although on second thought, Goku does kind of doubt that. It would have been really hard for them to launch one combined attack that's strong enough to defeat Buu, and Buu is pretty dangerous. They've seen the other types of things he's capable of. If he turned even just one of them into candy, they would have had no way to stop him. Still, Vegeta doesn't like the idea of retreating like this, although he's mainly mad that he can't do anything against Buu right now. He doesn't really like the idea of fusing either, so hopefully Gohan's strength will be enough, and hopefully Buu's not going to grow any more than he already has. Half a day passes since the ritual began, and their worst fear is realized. By now they know that Buu can absorb people, and someone else just showed up on the planet. Of course, Buu's power is pretty high and easy to sense from even far away, so Cell teleported there with Garlic Jr., ready to face Buu. Maybe this will be the continuation of the Cell games. He'll kill Buu, and then he'll figure out what to do later. This is probably going to turn out really bad though. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What do you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.